morning. I am Diane Simmons from Cake Connection in Jackson, Michigan. And today we are going to make gelatin butterflies. So I have a lot of different stuff we're going to show you, but before we get going, as always, we have our prize giveaway. So today, let me turn it a little bit so it angles into the camera better. Since we are doing butterflies, we are giving away all of our wing gelatin sheets. So we have the butterfly, we have fantasy butterflies, they've got polka dots, scroll work, just different fun things for the designs on the wings. The dragonfly set actually has 2 large butterflies plus a bunch of different dragonfly wings on it. And then we've also got 2 different fairy wing assortments that honestly, some of them in there you can still use for the butterflies. So they're still applicable to what we're doing today. Applicable, not applicable. Sorry. And then we've got our bug body mold. It's a silicone mold made here in the USA of food grade silicone. And then we have 3 of our galaxy dust, also known as disco dust, pixie dust. I don't know what other people call it.
Techno glitter.
But we've got rainbow, Hollywood red, and teal. Yep, teal. So just some fun colors to work with this. But that is our prize package today. And as a reminder, if you haven't joined us before, you do need to give us a shout out. Let us know you're here so you can get entered to win. Alrighty. So we are going to jump right in. I am not, just a heads up, I am not going to go through mixing the gelatin and blooming it and everything. If you want to see that, I did a gelatin video the other day. I believe it's titled Gelatin Flowers, okay? Or Gelatin 101, Making Flowers, something along that line. At the very beginning of that, I go through in detail prepping your gelatin, brushing it out, okay? Same theory for the butterflies. So if you want to see that, go back and watch the first few minutes of that video. But I know we have a lot of repeat people watching our classes with us here. So I'm not going to have everyone sit and watch it and go, oh, I've already seen this. Okay. So we are just going to fast forward. We've brushed our gelatin out and we've let it sit here and dry. And when you come in after 5-6 hours or so, it should just be laying on top of your sheets like this, okay? You literally can just pick them up and they're all set, okay? And this, if that shows up on screen, hopefully, this happens to be our dragonfly set, so you can see that, but it does have a couple large butterflies on it as well. And those are the ones that I'm going to use today. One thing, just real quick, if you did notice, I did not try to stay inside the lines. I've stressed this in the other video as well. Don't worry about, brushing the gelatin out neatly or anything. We're going to trim it, okay? So just work fast, work sloppy, get it on there before it starts to set up and congeal on you. All right. So first thing we got to do is cut our gelatin. You can use just regular old standard scissors. We have what are called tweezer scissors or spring scissors. Okay, I do have these on the website in straight, and I have some with an angled blade on them as well. Okay, you can also use scrapbooking scissors, and this one is really fine. Is it showing up okay? Mm-hmm. I think I got these at Michael's. I'm not positive, but it's the smallest little bump, and these are kind of fun and neat for the butterflies. More so probably if you're doing the fantasy butterflies, but I'm going to show you on one of these today too. Okay, so if you're using just regular scissors, all right, you just want to cut around the edge. And I normally cut right on or just inside the line on the outer edge of it. Okay. Now if you notice, to go into the wing like that, I cut in from one side, flipped over to cut in. If you try to go in and then turn a big pair of scissors like this around inside that wing, you're going to rip it. Okay? So you don't want to do that. Alternatively, you could use, I'm going to throw my glasses on here. You could use your spring scissors, and they're awesome for getting into little nooks and crannies like this. Okay? Especially if you are doing the smaller butterflies, these are great for that. Okay? And you can use these all the way around if you want. They work just fine. Okay, so we'll finish cutting this wing with these scissors. And then I want to point something out to you here that I just did. So when you are cutting these out, if you notice, I'm going to set this back in here so you can see. Okay, there's a gap in between the two wings, all right? The way that I'm going to show you to put these together, you just want to cut so you have this tiny little point right there. So I basically just come off the edge of the wing and just came straight out on each of them just to put that little point there, because we're going to shove that into the body. Okay? Now, if I mentioned this in the other video too, I'll just touch on it real quick here. If you are cutting, I'm going to go out here in the scrap section, and you keep ripping, this one is actually a little on the thin side, so I can do this. If your gelatin just keeps ripping like this on you when you're trying to cut, okay, almost kind of tissue paper-ish, out here at the edge it's really thin, so it'll do it more so. Or if it's not even wanting to cut because it's so thin, honestly, there's probably not a lot of salvage at this point, because if it's too thin, you're not going to be able to insert it into the body, for one. You could use it still to do with buttercream, so you may not have to throw it away, but at the point when it's like super thin like that, I might honestly just toss it and start over, okay? But I always tend to make a lot of extra anyways, okay? And then, so there you've got them cut, and you can see I just left that little tip on both the wings, okay? I'll roll my scraps away here. So that's just your regular scissors. Now if you want to use your scrapbook scissors, I've actually cut one already, or cut half of one, okay? So, let me think, am I doing this? I'm going to cut out here in the edge. Okay, yep, I got it cut set the right way. I want it so my, I guess, little humps in the scissors, so the bumps are going, protruding out around the edge of the wing, okay? And these are a little bit more touchy when you try to get into that center spot. We're just going to do the best we can, and I might have to bring my spring scissors back in just to snip that out. Oh, no, got it. Okay. And then, like I said, I've got the other one already cut. So you can see, it's just kind of a fun little edge. Something different. But it looks neat on the butterflies. Okay. Sorry about that, my squeaky chair. Need to get some WD-40 on it. One thing I do want to touch on, if you have spare time, you want to make these and just go do, you know, get everything cut out so they're ready to use, you can. You can, these are ones I brushed out, oh my gosh, I don't even know, probably anywhere from a year ago to 5-6 years ago. It's been a while. I just keep them sorted into different bags depending on, like this one is just some fairy wings. I might have them sorted by colors. These are a lot of the larger size. I use this for class quite a bit when I'm out teaching. So I just sort them by color if I make a bunch of them. You do not have to have a zip. You can see my Ziploc bag isn't even closed there. Okay? You don't have to keep them airtight or anything like that. And then just store them. They are perfectly fine. But as I was mentioning, if you want, you know, you can go ahead, you can trim them so they're completely ready for you to start decorating when you need them. Or you can just leave them at this point where you've got them basically made so you don't have to wait for the dry time when you need them.
So, a couple questions.
Okay, couple questions. What do we got?
With trimming them, is there a reuse for the scraps at all? Or is it...
Honestly, I've heard of some people reusing the scraps and trying to put water back in with it and melt them down. It's not even a penny's worth of gelatin. I'm gonna make fresh and make new just so it works out good. I tried it once a long time ago, taking some of the scraps and just throwing them in a bowl with some, adding a little bit more water, and it was, for lack of a better word, it was just gloppy. I mean, it was like streaky. It just didn't come back together very good in my opinion. So the cost for one of these is so minimal because all you're using is just the unflavored gelatin, which is inexpensive, and it goes so far once you mix up a batch of it. To me, it's not worth messing around with it. Just make some fresh and go for it. Okay. So, yes, I throw it away.
And then in your kind of storage bags idea, do the wings not stick to each other?
No, they don't stick. They don't, nothing. These are, once they're dry, they are dry. Okay? I have quite a few of them in here. And no, there's no... And you can see when I just pulled that out, I did not have that bag closed. I don't close the bag. Okay? They're not sticking or anything. They're... Nope. Once they're dry, they're good.
And then...
They're ready to go.
Someone had some leftover gelatin that has dried. Can it be brought back to life?
We just answered that. So... Again, now... I guess let me ask though, are you talking you had some in a bowl that you mixed up? If so, yes, you can put that back in the microwave, rewarm it. One thing I did not touch the other day, I forgot about, you can rewarm your gelatin day after day after day after day, okay? Actually, I might have touched on this, but we'll mention it again just to be safe. You don't want to go more than, I believe it's about 36 hours right in there. I would say just try and warm it up every 24 hours. Get it heated back to a liquid state. Okay, even if you don't have time to go brush out more, rewarm your gelatin back to a liquid state. Get it that warm. Okay, if you're not aware, gelatin is actually used in a lot of medical stuff for petri dishes. It encourages molding and stuff. But as long as you get it warm enough, you're stopping that process. So, like I said, if you've got gelatin mixed up, and you want to make a whole bunch of butterflies or whatever it is, a whole bunch of flower petals, okay, anything, and you're just planning on making some every day, even if you can't make it when you get home from, if you get home from work late and kids got homework, or I know not right now, but whatever the case is, even if you can't utilize it and get to it to make it, go ahead and warm it up in microwave to a full, get it back to completely liquid, and then just let it set back up, okay? So just 15, 30 seconds, whatever you need, but get it warmed back up to a liquid, and you'll stop the molding process, okay? Very likely, if you let it just sit in the bowl for 3 days or something, you should be seeing some mold starting to develop if you've done that with it, okay? So, any other questions right now? Nope. All right. So now that we have everything cut out, we're going to do some fun decorating. I forgot, will you go grab me some the colored markers back in my class stuff?
Yep.
I thought I was doing so well getting everything prepped and ready for you guys, and I forgot the colored markers. So we have, I'm going to show you a few different things you can do, okay? We are working with our vodka, all right? I did find my little squeeze bottle, so I tried dumping this the other day and got a whole lot more than what I wanted. If you can get one of these, just prescription, it's like for kids' medicine, basically. Oops, I got some food color on my hand. Okay, it's just a dispenser for kids' meds. But this works great just to put a few drops down in your container. No special vodka, just cheap old whatever, okay? I honestly, when I tell Eric to go get me some at the store or something, I say just go get me the cheap stuff, okay? So.
Oh, here's a question.
Oh, here's a question, okay.
Could you do a single set of wings in multiple colors?
Yes. Yes, if you want to mix up a bunch of different colors on your, you need to do more like a tie-dye look. Okay, if you try taking your mold or your veining sheet, and there go the markers. Okay, so if you try taking your gelatin and going in here and brushing out, certain little sections and stuff, the very likely when you try coming in with your next color, even if, okay, and I've done it this way a couple times too. So I went in and put, like, say red or black or whatever in some of these sections, okay? And I'll let it sit and dry. Oh, I did it like 20 minutes, probably half hour, just so it, was starting to firm up good. And went back over it with clear, okay? When you hit the warm gelatin back on your gelatin that's starting to dry, it smears around on there, okay? So I don't care for the look of it. The other thing that you run into, you have thicker sections of it. So say if I painted this part and this section, okay, so if I've got these two sections painted, and then I go back over the whole thing with some yellow or some clear, whatever, these are going to be a lot thicker, all right? It's going to end up looking weird too. So you're very likely going to have bleeding, but you're also going to have thicker sections on there. I personally, check out my next options. I think you'll like what I'm going to show you as alternatives to doing that, okay? And you get a lot cleaner look with what I'm going to show you. All right. So, we have our vodka in here. And I'm going to work with a few different things. We have just some regular food color. This is just some Chef Master. This is regular gel paste color, okay? I have some airbrush color, and I also have some petal dust. This is our pristine powder, edible petal dust, and this is made from powdered food color. Okay, so this will work also. And we'll do a few different colors on here. And I'm just putting in, I don't even know, just little squirts. If you've been watching me all along, you know I'm not really fussy on measuring anything. Just put some drops in there. Okay, so, like I said, I'm going to show you, actually I'm going to do 2 greens here just to show you the difference. I'm going to shake up my white. And, whoops, help if I remember that I've got vodka and everything. Okay, so I'm going to put some white. Am I open? Just a minute. Maybe I'm going to put some white. Ah, cap's stuck in there. Just a sec. Hadn't used this one before. Didn't realize that. Okay, the cap was stuck down in there. Problem solved. Alright, let's try that again. And we're going to put a drop, actually I'll put 2 drops in there, of white. Okay, so what your white is going to do, we got to change gloves. Holy cow. Bunch of leakage on that green bottle. The white is going to make your color opaque. Alright? Now you will notice when we get to it, the powder food color, this actually has titanium, which is your white food color, has that in it. So most of the petal dust have that in it. So you'll find that they will be opaque anyways. Okay, I'm just using a toothpick here, stirring that up real quick. Okay. Toothpick here, stir this up. And I'm going to grab 1 wing just to sample show you the difference here. Okay. Now let me put this on some white. Does that show up a little bit better than on the silver? Perfect, okay. Alright, so I just have some small paint brushes. Alright. Stir that up just a little bit more. Okay. So here is our with white. Okay. And we want to do a different brush. Alright, and I'm getting most of my excess off of there. You zoomed in really close. Okay. And then here is our no white for painting. Okay. And I'm not worried so much about the lines on here. I just wanted to show you guys this. Let's see, what is that going to show up best against? Can you see the difference on camera there?
Yeah.
A little bit. Okay. I don't know what to hold that up against to make that show up best for you guys. Okay. With the white in it, it's more opaque looking. Like I said, hopefully you guys can see the difference there. Okay. But it gives it a little bit of difference, and you could put even more. So here I'll put a couple more drops of white in there and stir that. Oops, that was what I used for that. Okay, so it's lightening it up, but it's also going to make it even a little bit more opaque. Okay, and when you do paint with this, you still want to get most of your excess off. okay? Because you don't want too much dampness. It will eat a hole in your gelatin. All right, we'll let that dry real quick, and you should see a difference there just between this and this, because this one had the more white in it, okay? Okay, so here, we'll just use this to write. This is, oh my gosh, can I write upside down? No, I can't write upside down. Okay, so this is some white. This is no white. And this is more white. All right, so there's our differences with the green there that we brushed on. All right, just so you can see, there's some subtle differences. Okay, so play around. Big advocate all the time. Make extra of what you want to work with, so you can do some tests like this. All right, and see what you're getting. Okay. So, there we've got, that was just some gel food color. Then, let's see. This is some airbrush color. Shake that up a little bit. So we'll just do a couple drops of that. And I'm using some red airbrush color. And I'm literally doing this just to show you guys, use what you have, okay? Ooh, bad brush. Just a minute, I gotta stray. Let me snip it off here. I have a little stray. There we go. Okay, so this is just some red here, red food color. All right, and you can see that sort of shows up. That was just super red food color mixed with some vodka and painted on. Okay, now let me put a drop of white in there. I'm going right in the same one. Okay, and then we'll go right here beside it. I'm not watching the lines real close right now, I'm just showing you guys some examples. All right, so this one has just the food color, okay, with the vodka, and this is some red with just one drop of white in there, so not a lot of white. All right, but as that dries, you should notice a little bit of a difference there. Okay. And then we'll do some with our powdered food color. All right. Use my little palette knife here. Scoop out so we don't get too much out. I tend to be quite notorious for dumping too much out, so better to use a palette knife. Alright, so again, powdered food color, and this is some yellow. And the powdered food color does already have the white in it. Okay, most colors, I won't say all of them. Check your ingredient labels. If it says TiO2, that is, or it may actually spell out titanium dioxide, but TiO2 is the abbreviation for titanium dioxide, which is your white food color. Okay. So there, this is your red airbrush with a little bit of white food color, and then this is the yellow powder, pristine powders. So your powdered food color. All right. And then again with your greens, this is our green, just regular gel paste with a little bit of white in there. This one has no white, so it's more translucent. And this one, we added even some extra white to it. Okay? Any questions on different things you can do for coloring? Did you miss some or no? Okay. All right.
Just not getting the best visuals on those color differences.
The color differences aren't showing good?
It's the zoom on the camera, not the... I can't get it to focus in on the...
Did you try hitting the box right?
You know...
Okay, let me hold it completely still. I'm not touching it, and it still won't?
No.
Okay. What if we move away a little bit and zoom in more? You think? Or no? No? Okay. Well, I picked the darker, or the pink, because I thought that was going to show up best, but...
Well, can you try lifting the wing off the paper? Try something.
Let's try.
No, just like lifting
that?
literally lifting it.
Literally lifting it. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Oh, pull the white away.
Take the white away.
Yeah.
Better?
I'm trying.
We're trying to get it zoomed in a little better for you guys. No? He's telling me it's not showing up good. I picked this color thinking it was going to show up good for you for this.
I mean, you can see the differences. You just can't.
I knew this was going to be a little bit of a hard one today to show. Sorry about this, guys. Okay, so one other thing. Let me take the green one here.
Do you prefer using liquid or dry coloring?
Honestly, I don't have a lot of preference as far as what I use. I just, whatever I have handy, to be totally honest. I just grab it and roll with it. Okay. One thing I didn't touch on, that I'm using the vodka to mix this with, but the reason to use the vodka is, oops, sorry, I want to find this another small brush here. There you go. You need something that's going to evaporate real quick for you. Okay? Ah, my brush had a little black in it. Oh well. Darn it, didn't get clean good. My bad. Okay, just a sec. Because you know that's how we roll here. Oh, there's a lot of black on that. We're just not even going to try that one again. Fiddle biscuits. There's a word for you. Let's check this one. Okay, this brush is good. So, just a sec. See, we don't have everything super prepped and super well ready to go. We have issues live. But you already know this, right? And we just roll with them. Alright, so I cleaned it out with my paper towel. Put a couple drops of white in there. Oh, was that no good? Where did I put my bad brush? Now I forgot which. Oh, that was definitely the yucky brush. Okay, off screen with the yucky brush. Alright, so here I've just got some white. And we're going to fix this one up I might not have enough food color in there. I don't. I'm going to put a little bit more food color in there. Whoa. That was a lot more food color. That's okay. Okay, so I didn't finish up. The reason for using the vodka with this, if you are opposed to using alcohol, okay, you can use lemon extract, all right? But you need something that is going to evaporate very quick. You don't want to use vanilla, all right? That is going to leave it's going to actually eat your, I want to say, it's going to eat a hole in the gelatin because it's not going to dissolve as quickly. All right? I'm going to go back and paint over this real quick. Because, see, and all those Michigan fans will appreciate this, I need this to show up nice and white because I want to make a Sparty butterfly. All right. When you're painting, one thing to keep in mind, whatever you do on one wing, you want to mirror on the other, okay? So, you notice I just painted both of the same sections, all right? That's one thing that Mother Nature does do, is make them exact replicas. Okay? Which one did I go in? That one? Yep, that one. And I don't want to spend a ton of time on here painting either, so I'm just going to hit a few. I'll do some white dots down here. I'm going to stop and call it good. Oh, alright, I gotta go back to the other one. Because, you know, I didn't listen to what I just told you to do. Okay, so I gotta go back up the wing here a little bit. Get those other dots. Okay. I still want that a little bit whiter. Put a little bit more on there. Just for funsies. I think I just put my finger in this too. Oh, I didn't. Alright, so there. I'm not going to paint a bunch more on there just because I've shown you the main things I want, you know, as far as with the different colors here on the pink wing. Okay? Other thing I do want to touch on though, if you're not big on painting or if you want to do something with the kids, okay? Colored markers. These work great. And you can just grab those and just go color in your sections on there. Okay? Just, again, you don't want to sit here and hold it down and just keep rubbing. I'm going to do this on purpose just to show you. Okay? If you just keep going and going on it. I think I did enough to, yeah, it's starting. I don't know if you can see it yet. Let me put some more on there. You know, same thing. If you put too much liquid on this, you're going to eat through it. There, you can see I'm starting to get some color on my thing because it's eating that up. Alright, so just do quick little blips on there. Alright, but you can absolutely just use your food color edible markers. Alright, if you know that you're not going to eat this, You technically could go get some markers from the store. If you're just doing a project with the kids, you're not going to eat them, you just want something fun for them to do, just, yes, if you've got markers sitting around the house, go ahead and use them, okay? But not for food. Alright. So, we've got the markers. I've shown you different things you can paint with. Next up, if you want to go even further with your decorating, this is just some clear piping gel. Okay? And I just realized, just a minute, I did not shake this up at all. It's been sitting there for a little bit. This is probably all just liquid at the end. Okay, there we go. So, again, this is just some clear piping gel. It's available in the bigger containers too. This is just a tube I find handy for teaching classes and stuff. Alright. And then, let's see. I'm going to do some gold on that green one, I think. Alright. This is some of our galaxy dust, like we're giving away for our prize. And like I said, also known to many as disco dust. Okay. So, this is where you will need some tweezers. So make sure my tweezers are cleaned off because I grabbed that white out of... Okay. So, you'll want some tweezers handy of some sort. Get it dripped on there off. Throw that away.
Couple questions, quick.
Yes.
What do the wings taste like?
Honestly, there's really no taste to these. They're very just kind of black. Because like I said, it's unflavored gelatin. Now you could mix in some like Loran flavoring. You could put a drop or something in if you wanted some taste to them. One thing I will stress, do not use regular Jell-O, okay? If, now sugar-free, you can use a little bit of sugar-free. If you want something flavored, you could use some sugar-free Jell-O, okay? We have, there's a book back there. We've got some recipes in our books that Michelle sat and figured out because she is the certified working pastry chef, not me. But she sat and come up with the recipes. All right, so if you want flavor, still using your unflavored gelatin, okay, so if you want to make it clear, and the reason I say clear, most of, if you're buying a sugar-free Jell-O from the store, that's going to obviously have some food color in it, some dye in it, okay? So you can still use your unflavored, but then you're going to need a little bit of some Splenda, and then you can put a couple drops of flavoring of your choice. That's where I was talking like the Loran flavoring, okay? But if you want to use the sugar-free gelatin, so like Jell-O brand in the box, the sugar-free Jell-O that you get from the store, then you just need that. You add a little bit of that to your unflavored gelatin and water, okay? But again, those are recipes in the book that she has come up with, okay?
And then, do the wings need to be coated with any kind of finish when you're done decorating?
No, these do not need to be coated at all, okay? So, here we have our, sit over here, our piping gel. I've got just a little bit out on the plate. We don't need a lot at all, all right? And then some of our galaxy dust, you might know it. Like I said, lots of different, whoops, that was my clean brush I got out for this. galaxy dust, known as disco dust. Okay? And no, it is not an edible product. Okay? Typically, if this is something, that kids are going to come up and eat, I would not be putting this on. All right? I gotta set this over here. That left-handed syndrome thing going on. All right, so wherever I want to put this, I need to put some piping gel in order for it to stick to. All right? So we're just going to put it here. I'm going to put it in a couple sections on here. So I'm basically just brushing the piping gel into, let's go there and there. And yes, stray little bristle off my brush. Get that out of there. All right. So then I'm going to take that. Oh, let me check if I'm going to hope all my paint is dry. We might have some gold on top of the white when we do this. Yes, we are. Okay. Well. Okay, so I sprinkled that on. We're just going to roll with it. My white that I put on there had not dried yet. All right? So we're now having gold dots there. That's okay. I'm all right with that. All right, and then this one, we got to paint those same sections. Let's see, which ones did I do? 2. No. Should we do that one? Okay, you just want a thin coat on here. And usually in doing this, because what you just saw here, you do want to wait in between all these steps, okay? Just to make sure everything's dry. All right, let me turn this around so you guys can see. All right, so when I dump that over, I'm tapping the excess off my knife, tap that off, but then I'm holding it with the tweezers and just tapping on the edge up here, and that will knock your excess off, okay? Now, can they see on camera? Does that zoom in enough to show there's some right there?
No.
No? Okay. If you have any little excess that's not falling off when you tap it, okay, you can go in with your toothpick and just kind of loosen it off there if needed. You could also take just a clean, dry brush in there. That's probably your best option, I think. But just go in and just kind of brush off that excess if you have any little loose strands on there. Okay? Now, if you want to do another color of dust, for example, if I were going to grab some red, if I wanted to put some, if you're going on a completely different area, all right, so if I wanted to go up here at the top of it, I'm not going to because I don't want to get it all over my white up here since we know that's not dry. In a completely different area, yes, you could do that right now and just carefully scoop your dust on and you can control it, all right? If I wanted to do some red right down here in between the gold, if I put that on right now, it is very likely I'm going to get some red mixed in with my gold, okay? Can't really stop that. So, a couple different options. You can start with if you're going to do multiple colors, you could start with your darkest color first, okay? So if you were going to do some black, say if you were going to do some black and yellow, okay? You would do your black first, and then you could do your yellow. It's not going to show up on the black, All right. Alternatively, you just need to wait for this to dry. So if that were the case, if I needed to wait for this to dry, I'm going to have to wait. To be safe, I would say wait at least like 5-6 hours. All right. Just so your piping gel is good and dry, and then go do your next color. Okay. Any questions? Oh, the other thing I want to show you real quick. If you want to do the edges, here, I'm just going to grab one that I haven't done anything with. Okay. If you want to do the edges, you basically just need to take your brush, okay, and essentially I'm running the side of the brush. I've got the piping gel on there, and I'm just running that along the edge there, okay? And then I'm going to go over to my dust, dip that in,
Yeah, it is. It's just a 12 count.
and again tap off my excess, okay? So there, you've got your edges dusted. Is that showing up good? No.
No, but we can see it.
Better there? No? Well, phooey.
It's the camera today.
That any better?
You can see it, but
Okay. Okay, if you do anything like this, all right, if you make a little hanger with some clothes hooks, that is perfect. So you don't have to, but if you had some sort of a wire with just some little clip, you can also use I can't think what they're called. They're like the black paper clips that have the pinchers on them. Okay, you could use something like that, but basically just to hold it over any sort of a wire or something to hold it up in the air so it'll dry. Okay, you don't have to. You can put it down on something. Just when you go to pick it up, if you've got any of the piping gel on the back side, it may stick a little bit. You may have to take a palette knife and just go in there, just kind of separate it off your paper once it's dried. Okay. Now, one thing I do want to stress, if you have used a lot of the dust on this, okay, when you go to put these together, one of two things. Best option, let it sit and dry overnight. Okay? That way, when you're handling it and putting it together, you're not as likely for that to come falling off, all right? Because your piping gel will be dry at that point. Alternatively, I really, really recommend use tweezers to put stuff together, okay? That way you can hang on to it. You can keep your tweezers away. It's a lot harder with your big fingers to go in here and grab it and make sure you're not hitting anything that might still have damp piping gel on it, okay? If you use your tweezers, you can go in there and do what you need to do and hang on to it to move it around. But, like I said, the best option, do these ahead of time and just let it sit and dry, okay? So, to assemble them, now that you've got everything nice and pretty, I have just some black fondant here. Knead it up a little bit. And I'm just going to take a little piece.
could you mix in the galaxy dust to the gelatin when you're making it?
Yes, you can. I don't think it's going to show up, but I do that a lot with gelatin stuff. I will mix the dust right in the gelatin, before I even brush it out. So this, I know you're not going to be able to see this on camera, but yes, we've got it in, it's in the green already. I don't think it's in, no, I don't have any in the pink. But yes, very often, especially if I'm doing bow sheets, butterflies, a lot of that stuff, I will mix it right in before I brush it out. So yes, you can absolutely do that. And that just gives it a little extra fun going on there. Okay? And because I didn't take my gloves off after I worked with the dust, I now have some in the fondant, but that's okay. So, our bug body mold, there are different size. This is actually a little bee mold down here, but then we've got different size butterfly bodies for the different size wings, obviously. Dragonfly typically has a lot bigger body. Okay, so I normally use this one for the dragonfly. Typically, I'll end up using this for these bigger ones too. It's just whatever you feel is going to fit best with it. I'll do one with the medium one today. Okay. So I normally just roll it into a little bit of a sausage. I don't do anything with the mold. We're just pressing it down in. And if you notice, I'm just kind of working side to side, pushing it down the tail. Okay? And it is essentially self-slicing itself right off. Alright? Once I get done, I'm going back, and I know this is kind of hard to see I'm pushing it back in away from the edges, okay? So back in towards the center, just gently, but that's cleaning up the edges of it, all right? And then just kind of bend the mold a little bit, and your body pops right out, okay? And you can go back if you want and just kind of round it off a little bit on the back side. You don't have to. Okay. If you want the tail, you can bend it a little bit. Whatever you want to do with it, just to give it a little movement. It's your baby. So if you want to do any of that though, do it while it's still soft. Okay. So to insert these, I take my palette knife. If you don't have a palette knife, you could use just a sharp. Let me grab one here and show you. The joy of having everything right here. You can grab one and show you. Just a sharp paring knife type thing, okay? Just anything with a nice little point on it. But I basically, what I call pre-drill, okay? And I put the holes right down in. Alright? And then, I've still got some wet piping gel on there. So, my piping gel I just want to dip in that end. And I'm going to bet that's not going to show on there.
Nope.
Okay, so right here at the tip of my knife, so just that last like little 1/8 of an inch there, I just dip that in the piping gel. Alright, I'm going to push that in, and then go grab my other one. That, and go over here. Alright, so there we have Mr. Butterfly put together. Now, he needs some stamens, or some antenna, which we make from stamens. Oh my gosh, we've already been an hour? Holy cow. Okay, speeding this up, folks, sorry about that. Alright, so you can use pre-made stamens, or you can make your own. If you are making your own, I usually do them from 30 gauge covered wire. Alright, And this is just some paper covered wire. And very often, this is just some gelatin. And I grabbed some brown food color. Oh, this is luster dust. That's okay. Okay. Just put a little bit in there. All right. And I'm just going to kind of gently shake that together.
Could you use edible glue for the wings if you... Or do you...
I have never used the edible... I don't know how fast the edible glue sticks up or how thick it is or anything. I don't have good input on that because I haven't used it. Okay? So, this, like I said, this is just some unflavored gelatin. And I threw in just a little bit of some brown luster dust. Alright? Just something to color it a little bit. And then you can take the end of your wire, and this again is just some 30 gauge wire, dipped it in some piping gel and dipped it down in there. But this way you can make whatever color stamens you want. Perfect for gum paste flowers, fondant flowers, whatever as well. Alright, so if you don't have the little stamens, if you've got some wire, you can make your own. Alright, cream of wheat also works for this, just the cream of wheat is not as fine as the gelatin. Okay. Poppy seeds, if you want something black, poppy seeds will work for that. So, you know, a few different options there. But you just need a little short piece for the antenna. And again, we'll use our tweezers. And I'm going to turn this around here. I'll work backwards so you guys can see what I'm doing. Alright, so I've got my two little pieces of stamen there. And my piping gel. I'm going to dip into the piping gel and hold this still. And insert. And same thing with the other, dip into the piping gel. It's a little difficult working backwards sometimes. Alright, there we go. Now, if your wings are not staying up as far as you want, okay, this is actually some cardstock paper I had grabbed to show you. You can basically fold this up and then fold those back. So do a couple folds to make kind of like an M shape. Alright? But then once you've got it all together, and you can open that up as far or as tight as you want it, and let it sit in there, and then your wings are going to dry where you want them to. Okay? And then one other thing I wanted to show you, if you want to have your butterfly wired, okay? These, I do recommend make them a little bit ahead, all right? I'm going to show you what I did. But I just made that, probably 20 minutes before I came on air. So it's been there about an hour and a half. And trying to go quick. I'm sorry guys, I thought today was going to be a shorter video. I guess I had more to show you with the butterflies than what I thought. Okay, so make the body, pop that out, and to wire these, for this particular thing, normally with the gelatin, I just use 28 gauge wire for everything. To wire the butterfly bodies, because you end up getting a little bit of weight with your fondant here, this I use 26 gauge for, okay? but then I put just a little kink in there. Let's see, that'll probably show up best against my black shirt. Alright, so just put a little bit of a kink in the end. And then, again, with our piping gel, I just dip that in. And I'm going to the back side and just starting, partially down the body and pushing that back in. Alright? And then let that sit on its side. Just so that way it'll dry kind of straight for you. Alright? This one, like I said, I did about an hour and a half ago. It's not super firm set, but it's set enough. Alright? Or so I hope. So then it should still be soft enough. I can go drill, do my little pre-drill for the wings here. Okay. And I know these aren't decorated at all, but that's okay. We're just putting them on there. Just to show you one in flight. Whoops. I just did that upside. Oh, no, I didn't. I was thinking I did that upside down. Alright. And again, in the hole, put a little piping gel on. But there, you have a wired butterfly. Okay? And I know that one's not finished off, but just to show you the premise of having a wired one. Okay? So, there we go. Mr. Butterfly. Whee, on the 360. Okay. And Mr. Wired Butterfly here, or Miss Wired Butterfly. All right. Do we have any other questions? Nope. All right. So, our drawing today. Do we have a winner, Mr. Simmons?
We do, in fact.
We do, in fact. Awesome sauce. Who is our winner today?
All right, I'm going to mispronounce this last name.
Okay, cool.
But it is Jennifer Pointer.
Oh, Jen.
Pointer. I think I'm saying that right. I think it's Pointer.
That is Jen from Gigi's Cafe.
Okay.
In Parma. So, if anyone local is looking for some dinner tonight, Jen has to-go meals out at Gigi's Cafe in Parma. Yay, Jen! All right. So, I'll drop your stuff off on my way home, or we'll get it to you anyways. So I don't need your address. I'll just get it to you. But other than that, we are all set, and I thank you so much for joining us today. On Friday, we are doing a fondant covered cake. So I'm just going to show you how to ice a cake and cover it with fondant. And then next week, we are doing, well, actually the next 2 weeks, we're going to do theme weeks. Next week, we're going to do Mother's Day projects, okay? And then the following week, we're going to do graduation goodies. So if you have suggestions for either of the next 2 weeks, please let me know. Go on the Facebook page. You can comment in here if you want, but I do have a whole separate post asking for requests and suggestions. I've got a few ideas for it. I would really rather do what you guys want to see, okay? I did have a request for fondant covered cookies, and I have some stuff I want to show you with that, so I think I'm going to do that for Mother's Day week. So we'll do that one day next week. I saw that posted on there last night. What what was the other? I think I had something else I'd already was thinking about for Mother's Day. But for graduation week, I do have one day of the 3 that I'm going to do some, basically some little snack type things. I'm going to do, you know, some dip pretzels, but give you some different ideas for how to bring your colors, your school colors in. And then I'm going to also show you some different things you can do just with items from the grocery store. So you don't have to have a lot of special things, okay? You just want some melting chocolate, but we might use like some peanut butter cups to make, you know, little graduation hats I'm sure a lot of you have seen. But a few different things like that. So we still have some other days that we need to fill in. So as I said, please give me your suggestions, what you guys want to see, okay? I'm having fun doing this, but I want it to be fun for you, and I want to make sure that you're getting what you want also, all right? So, any questions, anything, feel free to drop me a message on the Facebook page. And other than that, I thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you on Friday, hopefully. Have a great day. Bye-bye.